All right, guys, before we get into the video, I want to talk about my YouTube membership program. Every week, I'm offering Metagame Monday After Dark, where I am laying out the blueprint for how to attack the metagame in the coming week. It's the exact same stuff that I'm going to be applying to my decks. You have a front row seat to that. Then I'm also playing Eyes on the Prize, where Eureka22422 and I will be playing out the finals matchups from the previous week of the Legacy Challenges, and you get to see awesome situations like Super Shredder beating turn 3 Emrakul attack. Then, of course, I'm also recording my challenge runs. Sometimes they end up in a win. You have a challenge from round 1 all the way to the finals. And, of course, my 5-0 league runs. All of that stuff is exclusive to my YouTube members. So make the $5 investment, and I'll see you over there. Now enjoy the video. Hey, what's up, guys? Let's jam some more Legacy. In front of me, I have a Grixis car cutter deck, and yeah, I have no idea if it's good. I like, in theory, that these two cards, when I accomplish the same thing, you change spells, you get a bonus. Cori-Steel Cutter and Fantasticar are pretty good against spot removal in general, but they both get disenchanted by, Voice of Vigor, Beseiju, and what have you. There's also that. The shell is something that you've seen before out of these tempo card decks: Thoughtseize, Force of Will, Dazes, flow states with the normal cantrip suite, ton of baubles, even 2 additional ones because of Cutter, and then Dark Ritual and Pedal to accelerate out our plan. We have a somewhat standard mana base here with a single basic island that I'm not sure how often we can actually fetch. A couple of red sources here, 1 of each. 1 Surveil Land, 4 Seas. Yeah. Let's see what we can do. We're trying to either combo people out with Car or have like a 1-card combo with Cutter. And if we're playing against opposing combo, we're trying to shut them down while we get over the finish line somehow. Sideboard has a lot of fatties here for tempo matchups, a package of 6 creatures against, to sideboard out for 6 counterspells. A couple of massacres against energy. Those are good both at enabling flow state, finding on flow state, and even triggering the car. Triple surgical against Reanimator, and then some bounce for, deafening silence and what have you, and then a couple of negations for opposing combo. I'm not too sure about this list, so you should just see it as an experimental way to keep searching for the best, Robin to the Batman of Fantasticar in these decks. And yeah, maybe Cori-Steel Cutter is it. Let's get some games in. All right. Here we are for round 1. I'm playing Grixis Cutter. This hand is, has a Cutter and some lands and a bauble, so we're hoping to be playing against a fair deck and we can get Cutter through the cracks. Now, the thing is, how many baubles are we cycling on turn 1 of the game? I could see anything from 0 to 2 being the case. Unmask. This is scary. Pitching Atraxa. Yeah, we're probably out of luck here, let's be honest. And the opponent unmasks us turn 1. That means they have something better to do than unmask themselves, and that's not good news. So, let's see. Bauble gone. So my opponent doesn't care about Cori-Steel Cutter. Let's see if they ban a creature. If they ban a creature, I give myself almost 0% to win this game. They do ban a creature. So now I need to bauble my way into a force and a blue card. And then I have to work. Okay, we take those. Let's go Surveil Land. If we can find a blue card here, I'm doing it. Not a blue card. Now I have to crack 2 baubles, because otherwise, if I don't hit the blue card, then nothing matters. So, worth noting is this deck is low on blue cards. It's only at 18, so see if we can get lucky. We don't get lucky. Now we'll lose to any land. Yep, that does it. All right. That was a sad game of Magic. Well done by the opponent. I think I like all of these cards. I don't like Cori-Steel Cutter. I do like the Murktides here to make sure we actually have enough ways to win the game. So these cards can go. The Badlands is probably pretty bad. And then maybe a couple of baubles so that our deck looks like this. This looks fine, right? Or Dark Rituals for car shenanigans specifically. Other than that, pretty darn bad. Brazen Borrower, good. The Brazen Borrower works against Stronghold Gambit. Am I willing to cut a Dark Ritual for Brazen Borrower because of Stronghold Gambit? Probably not a terrible shout, but it's also a little bit weak. Maybe we should just try and get a little bit busy, and then if we see the Gambit for game 2, we can consider it on the draw where I have less explosive power, because in theory, anything they can do, I can do better with Car. And I don't want to give up on nut draws unnecessarily. But yeah, that is a tricky matchup. This is why I have triple surgical in the sideboard, because this is a tough matchup, because they discard us, right? They either have something broken or they discard us, which is very good against the Car in general. Stretching my forces. And then I have to get into a game where I go like, Thoughtseize this, force that, restock with flow state. Those are the kinds of games that I have a chance in. Ritual. I guess I should play Ritual, Car, Pedal, Ritual. Attack for 16, have a Force of Will. Yep, that is a hand. That is a hand and a half. Don't see what my opponent's supposed to do about, so I can... So essentially, the game will end if I succeed doing this, so I should play like this. Dark Ritual, Fantasticar, Pedal, Ritual, and then Force blue card. So, yep. Yes. 3 black. Let's attack for 16. And then my opponent, in theory, has some stuff available here, like turn 1, I don't know, Raph and Mikey into something insane. But I think this is how I need to play. Unmask. Oh, that works. Yep, you got it. So now I'm excited. Let's see what the opponent can do. Okay, they just got info and conceded. That's obviously insane. It pitched on mask. I don't know if that teaches us anything. All right, Magic's an easy game. Let's have a think. Does this change anything, or is this simply just more of the same? The thing about Days is it works on show and tell. Like, it's a realistic soft counter. And then we have Brazen Borrower that works against the Gambit card. Yes, if a game goes into the super dirt. So close. Because if that show and tell resolves because I have Brazen instead of Days, that's a disaster. I will say, I actually expect my opponent to be pretty heavy on Graveyard, which makes my triple surgical awesome. And maybe, just maybe... it's so hard. I'll keep the Dazes. But I don't fault anybody for going for the Brazens. If I had seen Stronghold Gambit game 2, I liked it. I just think my opponent is very likely to try with some Reanimator shenanigans. But maybe that's not relevant for whether Days or Brazen is good. I guess the logic is if I'm wrong about that, Days countering a show and tell is pretty clutch. On the other side of the argument, they just saw that I have Days in the list, so, but also they don't want to get Thoughtseized, etc. All in all, very close. I wouldn't fault anybody for having the Brazens there, because in some stupid game, it might be, you know, the 3-1 that, you know, does the job. Oh boy. So no interaction. think that's acceptable. I'm losing to top draws out of my opponent, but against, Thoughtseize past the turn style, I'm fine. I get to look for Force or Surgical off Ponder and Bobble. And then I have some nut draws like Rip another Ritual or Pedal. With me keeping 7 cards here, does that make my opponent more likely to jam or more likely to slow down if they have the chance? I mean, they just got run over by Car. Unmask me. So this is another argument to keeping more hands, right? So if you mulligan, you're worse against these discard hands. And if they have discard into the nuts, mulliganing more likely aren't going to help you. Yeah, let's see what they take here. If they don't have anything awesome to do now, they could take the Thoughtseize. But if they have redundancy on, let's say, double reanimation or whatever, then leaving Thoughtseize is fine, and they should maybe just get rid of the car to make sure they have more turns. All in all, pretty polarized situation where it's out of my hands. The opponent will dictate the game here. If they're clearing the way for something broken on turn 1, yep, you got me, buddy. And if not, then we get to play the game a little bit with 6 forces and 3 surgicals in our deck. High octane stuff here. The opponent crushing us, us crushing them, and now a key discard spell. I like playing against these decks. I think it's totally fine. People complain too much about, getting Grizzlebranded before they had their breakfast, but yeah, I think it's cool. Okay, so they take that card. That means they're not killing us this turn, right? Maybe they're casting Faithless Looting, and they're looking to end up with a fatty in the bin. Oh, Therapy on Ponder, and we're in the dirt. Nice. It's cool. All right. Well, we are successfully back in the dirt. I feel like I should Thoughtseize my opponent. Cashing in the bobble here, I think, is good. Let's see what you're drawing, buddy. You're drawing Collective Brutality. All right, let's Thoughtseize. Sheesh. All right. Wait a minute. The opponent could have put Grizzlebrand into the bin there. Okay. They're drawing Collective Brutality. Then they're casting Faithless Looting. If I take the Reanimate. If I take the Reanimate, they loot that into the bin. And I'm kind of at the mercy. What happens if I take the looting? Then the moment they draw land, they can Brutality. And that would clear a potential Force Will in my hand. I should probably take the looting because I have time to find the next Thoughtseize before they get to 2 mana. That's close. That's very close. Okay, take the looting, pass. Draw Murktide, which is pretty good. But now if I draw land, I can slam that card and hope for the best land. For another Thoughtseize, that's not bad either. Maybe this is where I cast Ponder, because then if I find a land, I can Thoughtseize my opponent and Murk next turn. So I should Ponder, try and find a land. If I don't, we're in trouble, but I think it's okay to play the percentages. Fetching these cards away seems like how to play. So, like this. Draw. And now I'll go for another C. Thoughtseize your Brutality. Because then the opponent has to draw what? Now they can draw Unmask, Looting, Thoughtseize. That is a lot of cards. That is a lot of cards. What if I grab Reanimate? Then if they draw land, Versatile Brain is in the bin. Then they have to find... Yeah, I think this is better, because then they have to find land and Reanimation. So what if I take Brutality? Then they have to find Discard Outlet, and that's it. Okay. Tough game. Pedal. And then they put that into the bin. And they get rid of my ritual, which doesn't matter. Man, this game is in the dirt. So the good thing is now they lost a mana source, so they need to draw the card Reanimate very soon, or land into 2-mana Reanimation. Yeah, I'm happy with that Dace. That is a lot better than Brazen Borrower. All right, Murktide Regent is an 8/8. You're up, buddy. Another Murktide. Right now, it doesn't do anything, but it could. One card off. Pedal. Yes. I'm going to take my opponent down to 5 now. Uh-huh. Even further down. So let's fetch the Surveil land. Mill that card. If this was an instant, it would be grown even more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Murktide attacks for 9. And then let's see if the days can get us to the promised land. All right, we got there. This was a cool one. Murktide's out of the sideboard doing heavy work, and then the days here would have stopped my opponent's attempt, so one feather in the cap for that card as well. That was high octane. I wasn't too sure about these discard spells, but drawing into Murktide Regent surely helped the case here. All right, let's keep driving. All right, let's play some more Grixis Car Cutter something. Yeah, this looks like a hand. That's very close to 1, 2, 3. Very close. It's like a land off from doing very nasty things to the opponent. But, you know, Wasteland, Force of Will, bunch of stuff can happen. The opponent playing a combo deck, you name it, right? Ancient Tomb, that's nasty. That card is beatable. But, you know, Chalice stuff was not beatable. The opponent had more turn 1. Ugh. Let's see. Okay, then they go. That is... Ooh, sheesh, that's bestial. Let's see how much in trouble I am. They're prioritizing making a big patchwork rather than, you know, more going wide stuff. Huh. Yeah, this is troublesome. This is, at the very least, 5 power turn 1. Let's see where they go from here. Tracking that. Okay, 5 power turn 1. If I draw a 0, I'm the best in the world. That's not a 0. But it is a Thoughtseize, and then next turn I can potentially car my opponent. If they tap, if I can set up a trap where I Thoughtseize something that makes my opponent tap the tomb, then they die to the tokens. That's pretty cool, right? So I should fetch Underground Sea and Thoughtseize my opponent. Let's see if I can let them keep something like... Okay, never mind. That Force of Will is good. I don't care about the land. So take the Force of Will, pass, and then I'm gonna take a hit for 5. I'm gonna get off a car. Yeah, I think I'm doing well for myself unless my opponent draws the next Force of Will or something crazy. I'm rooting for them to draw Patchwork, obviously, because then they just straight up die. Okay. This could kill my opponent. Unless they thought cast it into a force. Land. Dark Ritual. R. Fetch. Land. Huh? Brainstorm. Attack you for 16, buddy. All right. That was cool. Put back, put back. So this is just a cool, like, my opponent doesn't know I'm a card deck. I go Underground Sea, Thoughtseize, right? Then they tap their Ancient Tomb the second time. That's all she wrote. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Against that deck, I like Baragorf a decent amount, but let's see. I like it better than Cutter, that's for sure. Now the question is, should I just bring in these 6 instead of these 6 and call it a day? I like every other card I have going on here. I don't think the Cutter does a good job beating the Fair Plane out of that deck. Murktide is a little bit iffy, but it does help with, you know, Baragorf hits. It helps with blue count. I think it's okay. I don't think Affinity is my best matchup, especially when he knows what's going on. I'm pretty excited about winning game 1, though. Maybe if I catch my opponent off guard with, like, Ritual Baragorf and they have, I don't know, Consign, Negation, Mindbreak Trap, you know, anti-car stuff, essentially. Let's see. What does this hand need to come together, and how much time do I have? If I draw land on my first turn, probably just casting Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to keep this because a lot of my opponent's range is going to be average stuff and Force of Will, and I already have all I need is to draw some lands. So I'm counting on this to come together before I'm dead, essentially. If I miss on land turn 1, it's very unfortunate, but I'm obviously a huge favorite to do so, and that's where I'm cracking my bauble, so that I hopefully find the land. I need the land by turn 2 is the point here, and I have 3 draws to get there. First draw step, bauble draw, second draw step. If my opponent goes something involving sacking Petal to go Emery, I need to... Oh. This is Emissary. I'll Force of Will here. I feel like that's decent. Force of Will pitch, low state. Because the logic is here, if my opponent has Force, I feel like they come over the top of me here. In which case, it's a wash. And if they don't have Force, I get more time here by countering this card. All right. That wasn't what I wanted to use my Force on, because they could have Force negation, right? Okay, they go for this one. Low-key. Okay. Let's see how much we're talking here. Yes, that's the good one, right? Because now they have Thoughtcast mana. Nice. Very nice refill. Okay. So they have 3 clowns in play. And they can play that card next turn. Let's see if I can find a land in time. That is not me finding a land in time. Let's see your draw, buddy. Versus Saga. It's unlikely. Like, I need something insane like Land Petal, right? Step 1. Now they're going to go that guy plus the 3/3. And now they have to choose how much to attack with. They like all 3. This is not it, right? Dark Ritual Car 0. I need one more. Yeah, I have to pass here, take a bunch of damage. I probably have to stay back with some Emery. Emery's so good. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to take a chunk and then brainstorm on the end step to try and set up a situation. So this one is my worst card. Let's see. Dark Ritual into car, bauble, Thoughtseize into the abyss. I go to 8. Then my opponent has too big of a creatures here, I feel like. What happens if I attack with 2? The problem is they can leave back drones and they force me to chump block. Yeah, this sucks. Okay. Yeah, the opponent got us good here. When I play first, Daze is a lot better against, you know, a player tapped out for Force of Will. I'll actually try the Dazes over Mercs. Also, like, bread and butter, Dark Ritual, Barragoyf, Daze or Force of Will, right? Let's try this out. All right, game 3 against Affinity. Ugh, this is ugly. Brainstorm can fix this hand though. I feel like I need this land with Brainstorm. All right, let's go land pass. I'm dazing Emery. What else am I dazing? Patchwork. Not patchwork. Probably dazing Emery. Okay, they now have 3 mana turn 1 and they pass. Okay, this is not terrible. So this is Mystical Dispute to me. I will keep passing the turn. Then on end step, Brainstorm, get rid of some lands, fetch a Surveil land, and then hopefully have a powerful turn next turn. It looks like the opponent has a reactive hand, so whether that's what's it called? Rebuke plus Force Blue card, or just one of them, who knows? But that's the logic. The logic is it's okay for me to be slow because my opponent's slow. But I also understand that they have the inevitability with, you know, Ursa Saga and stuff that doesn't require investment, I should say. It's also a little bit sketchy whether this Daze is going to be good. This hand has I basically need to draw, at the very least, 2 awesome cards. But, ooh. Doing nothing. Okay, here's Ursa Saga. And here's actually when I'm going to respond, because if my opponent wants to rebuke it, they have to tap, you know, tap out and get dazed. Okay. I don't mind this, so I should just put back land. Put back land, yes. Let's see what you got, buddy. Patchwork. Yes. So now it looks like if I play Car as the first spell, I can double daze and that's 3 spells and then triggered with a 0. Let's see if that checks out. This card is not needed. Let's get rid of Pedal, untap, land into Underground Sea, slam Car, and see what's going on over there. Daze my second spell here. And then I can even daze my opponent's Force Blue card, which is nonsense. This card was my first spell. Crazy. Here's Car. There's your force. Last card has to be Mindbreak Trap, or this is going to end very poorly for the opponent. All right. That card established. Let's see what you're drawing. I mean, in theory, they could play some cool card. Let's draw 2. Let's see. Develop the pedal does what? Let me check the list. Developing the pedal does nothing, I believe, because they don't have any consigns and whatnot. All right. Let's send the clowns. Bam. All right. 16U. Pass. Draw a couple of delayed ones. Force, can I even find the blue card? It's like a... Maybe. That was insane. But the opponent keeps playing. Why is that? I know about the Shadow Spear. What's the card in hand that's going to crush me here? Probably nothing, right? Because I drew Force blue card like a champ. Low key. So my opponent's last card is Shadow Spear. So let's do this. Force a Will. Here's Shadow Spear. Yes, sir. All right, oh man. Those 2 days that I went back in post sideboard. Oh man, those were insane here. I had a good read here turn 1 with the Rebuke. You know, seat mocks 0/0, right? And then later on, the opponent banked on that and didn't account for days. But, I mean, yeah. Awesome draws. Can't really complain about those. All right, let's play one more. Hey guys, let me briefly interrupt the video. Over on my Metafy, I have updated guides for blue-white tempo, blue-black tempo, Issa tempo, and Fantasticar tempo. I will only keep those updated and add way more going into Eternal Weekend. I'm also hosting my yearly tournament series with 2,500 treasure chests and some unique artwork as prizes for my members. I have win more strategy articles with fundamental ways to level up your game. My members are kind enough to share their ups and downs with the classroom. Of course, I have challenge calls on the weekend where we cheer each other on en route to greatness. I have tons of VIPs hanging out on the server, and the best guest primers in the business from the absolute killers of their respective archetypes. Here are some testimonials for you guys to check out if you're into that as well. I hope to see you over there. Use code ECO50 to save on your first month. Thank you so much for your consideration. Let's get back to the video. All right, let's play some Magic the Gathering. Currently 2-0 with... I would be lying if I said Grixis Cutter. I'm 2-0 with Fantasticar. I should say that. So this hand is solid. I can go turn 1 Thoughtseize. And then I can go turn 2 Cori with a Bauble. That's not bad. So what should I do turn 1? Also, this player is known for playing Usal spells, but I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I haven't kept track with what he's up to, so I'm not going to make assumptions. I will go turn 1 Thoughtseize regardless. So let's see. If I go turn 1, I should probably go Badlands off of the Thoughtseize, because then turn 2 I play Island, and I have a uncracked fetch left over. So yeah, this should be the once in a blue moon where you fetch turn 1 Badlands. All right, let's Thoughtseize and see what's going on. Oh, Affinity. I mean, I love that deck myself. I can't really say anything else about that. So this hand needs to come together for the opponent, and how does that happen? If I take the Sink into Stupor here, my opponent's pretty far away from doing much of anything. What if I grab the Patchwork Automaton? That is something that could somewhat easily get in the way of my beats. What if they draw like a random 0? Then they have 1, 2, 3. Then they're getting a little bit close. Okay, we can grab the Patchwork here. I don't mind it. That was a tough one. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. I'm not sure about this decision. It's more like, it looks like the opponent could be stuck with a bunch of stuff in it. Island. So that means they think the Stupor might do something else in the future, which is a little bit scary. It could also mean they just drew a blue card, which I would hate to see. Not a blue card. We have Cutter on now. And they're drawing. Oh, never mind. I just saw the same thoughtcast essentially. Cantrip. That is not a cantrip. Let's see. This has the potential to snowball, but certainly not the guarantee to snowball. Let's see if they have a play. They didn't find a play, but the Saga will trump my stuff. Land is terrible. That is probably what's going to kill me. All right, attack with the 2/2 pass. That's exactly when we needed to, cantrip, flow state, what have you. This is going to be very, very tough. Yes. I will Dark Ritual counter. That is a good one. 4/4. So fetch a C. Dark Ritual. Force a Will. And then I think it's time to draw Low State or Ponder or whatever. Because otherwise this construct with a spear on it is just going to stabilize. Need a good one now. That's not a good one. Yeah, I'm losing. I am losing to the constructs. All right, more affinity. I like Baragoyf for cutters. And then, what did I do last time? I feel like I can cut the Badlands when I'm doing this, and whether I want a Brazen or a Murktide, who knows? Brazen or Murktide? Brazen is not horrible. I could see some situation where that is clutch. Now, do I want a second over, say, a Bauble? That's okay. We can try it. All right. Let's see if we can do a little bit better. Cutter didn't look great there. It's one of those cards where, in order to keep the engine running, we need to draw one of these 12, right? And if we don't, the card is just going to be bad. That's why card is not good in non-blue decks, right? It's the same. It's the same reason. This is fine. This is turn 1 Thoughtseize. Maybe Force a Will. Try and look for Ritual. R looks terrible here. My plan very quickly becomes Baragoyf with a draw like this. I'm a little bit scared of Saga in these games. Force a Will. Not necessarily scared of Force a Will, but I could be scared of the Pinnacle Emissary. The opponent goes turn 1, seat, that guy. Yeah, let's try and take that out of the equation. There's also simply just taking the Rebuke. Living with the 1/1s. Maybe that's fine. Okay, let's try that out. Take the Rebuke, pass. No Saga in sight, which is good for business. And then I'll accept the Pinnacle Emissary. But my opponent will think twice about that card if they don't draw a blue card. Okay, never mind. So it's still the same plan for me. That was draw. Okay. So the opponent is naked this turn, unless they spike it, of course, off the pedal. Let's see. Gone, 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 gone. Down to those two. What did they see? They saw Brainstorm. All right, Dark Ritual. That's a Daze. Doesn't do anything. All right, let's try and ponder into land, I guess. That is a land. Guess I just like the land. These other cards aren't too exciting. Then I can end step surveil or end step brainstorm, depending on how desperate I feel. Here's Ancient Tomb. The opponent has 3 cards. That's enough for Hardcast Force. So they might, you know, take a chill position here, which is kind of cool. Okay, so they go back to, like, holding up Hardcast. That's fair. Oh, never mind. They jammed that card. This card is fine. Now it's time for me to find... Okay. Now it's time for me to find the land, otherwise it's getting too late. See days, which is annoying, and they get another 1/1 in there. All right. Probably brainstorm time now, to be honest. It looks 1 card deeper. Yeah, I think I need to find it now. Between Petal, Ritual, Land. This Thoughtseize is not going to happen. I can just draw the car. I think that's fine. So wait a minute. Car. Force. Bauble is 1 off. Okay. All right. I'll go to 12, play Baragorn. They found the blue card, which is obviously great for them. Force your force. And now, am I cycling this Bauble or not? Do I really believe in the Fantasticar moving forward? I think it's better for me to do this. Pass. So now I'm getting hit for 5. So I am losing the race by a little bit. See if they found a good one. Shadow Spear. That is a good one. That unfortunately makes the race lopsided for me. Now they do that, and they can attack me for 7 in the air. I'm at... No, 6, of course. I'm at 5. I'm at 9. Did I bring in Murktides? I did not. So I'll go to 9. How much damage is this? This is 8 in the air. So I basically have to Baragorn into another Baragorn here. If I don't, I think I'm swimming with the fishes. Yep, I'm swimming with the fishes. All right, Affinity got us good here. That was a cool one. The opponent had some sweet ones that came together and played nicely. I was grasping for air and didn't get there. That's how it goes. You know, I got there in the first 2 matches. So yeah, a little bit of variance in both directions. All right, that was a fun one. Cori-Steel Cutter didn't do a whole lot. The main game plan was awesome. Cutter, the only time I drew it, it came up super short. So I don't know what to make of that. Maybe could have done a little bit better with the Cutter. Maybe it's a little bit worse than I initially expected. But yeah, that's how it goes. All right, guys, I just want to thank my sponsors before getting out of here. Please check out Dragon Shield, 4 Seasons, and Magic Online. Those are the best. They support me. If you support them, you support me. You know how it works. So please consider that. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. And I can't wait to welcome you back to some more sweet, sweet Legacy action.